Stand in.
Yeah.
First up. Thank you.
Okay. Now we've had a long weekend. Seems like some of us maybe partied a little too much, right? A little tired.
I'm sick.
Not feeling that good. I'm sorry.
I'm sick.
Ouch. Man, Cameron. Alright. Well, today we're just going to do a quick review of what we did last week. And last week we went over solving for proportions with similar figures. I just want to do a quick example. I feel like you all did really well on it last week. But so right before we get on to our section, we're going to just go ahead and see if we can solve this problem. I'd like you to help me through each step. So for this first one, we're going to be, and you can go ahead and write this on your board as well. We're going to have two figures. So our first one, this will be our big one. Okay. We'll have the points H, G, and I. And then for our smaller figure, we're going to go ahead we have B, R, and S. We have number 1 right here. We have 12 on the bottom and 3. And we're solving for B and S. Okay? And who remembers what is the first step that we're supposed to do here? We've already written it down, so we have that first step down. But now, what's our second step? Do you remember? Remember, Chandler? What we do next when we have these figures?
Make a fraction.
Correct. And to help us with that, we're gonna find what are the corresponding sides, right? So we know obviously the bottom here, GI, which is the bottom right, is the same as BS on the bottom right, and so forth on the other sides, because they're the corresponding. All right, now we want to find first numbers that are on corresponding sides, right, Chandler? Like kind of like what you were saying. So which side here both has numbers? Natalie, which corresponding sides, so sides that are similar, have a number? 3 and the 1. All right, and you remember for a fraction, which number goes on top?
1.
1, because it's the smaller figure, right? So we'll have down here, so we'll have 3. And our very next step, pretty easy, we just put the equal sign, right? And what are we solving for?
Yes.
Okay, so is BS going to be, what was that?
Yes.
Exactly, so BS would be on the top. 12 would be on the bottom. Okay, and then looks just simple like what we've done before when we solve proportions, right? So we have the fraction right now. And Cassidy.
Yeah.
Which parts of the fractions are going to times with each other?
The 3 and the 1, right?
Is it 3 times the 1, or is it going to cross multiply?
It's going to go 1 and 2, 1 and 12. You times
Exactly,
3,
exactly.
cross multiply.
So we'll have 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be divided by what? And what is it divided by?
3.
3. Because we don't know what BS is, right? So we're going to be putting a 3. And what's 12 divided by 3? 4. So then we know that BS is 4. Good job. And today we're going to do going over plotting points. Let's see, how do you say it? Plotting points on a given coordinate system with changing on the axis. And this was kind of, you know how to plot points. I feel like you all do really well on plotting the points. But remember when we've seen graphs that already have maybe each line represent 2 or 5 or 10? It kind of makes it a little bit trickier, right? And so to help us with that, we're going to we have some steps, and this is what the steps were earlier. Cassie, I know that that's just kind of confusing when we were going over the bell work, right? You thought that this might have been our bell work. So but this is actually just the steps that we're going to be following as we solve these type of problems. So, but the first step is that we're gonna look at the problem, see what our problem is, okay? And our second step is we're gonna look to see what scale is being used on the x-axis and y-axis. Rich, what's our next step? What's C? What's C right here? Give me that. So we'll find the x coordinate, right? And Laura, what's the next one? We're going to find the what? The y coordinate. Now last one, Natalie. If you could read my handwriting, I know it's kind of smaller, but it's mark
a dot.
Mark a dot at the end location. So when we're putting our points here, if we don't mark the dot, do we know where our point is at? Are we going to get that question right? No. So it's important that we mark that. And to do an example, we're going to do, let's just get my worksheet out here. And you can put this on your whiteboards as we go through this step, okay? So this first one, and go and write this graph on your boards. So it's good. We're going to have our x and y axis, and our, let's see, our x here. Okay. So it's gonna be like this. Hey Cameron, thanks. I know you're tired. I'm there with you. So let's go and just write on our boards, okay? Thank you. All right. And our problem we're gonna first solve is 412. So Cassie, what's our first step? We've looked at a problem, right? But what's our next step that we're gonna do? And you can look up here at the steps.
Let's just see what the scale is being used on the y-axis and then on the x-axis.
X-axis. And which one is being used on the x-axis, Chandler? 2. So I mean each line will represent 2. So our next one will be 4, 6, and so forth, right? And Shaylee, what's our y-axis? What's the scale on the y-axis? What is each line going to represent?
3.
3. So the next one will be what?
6.
6, 9, and so forth, right?
12.
Okay. And what's the next step that we're going to do, Rachel? C. Part C. Actually, I asked you that earlier too. But what's C on our? Find the x coordinate, right? Okay. And what's our x coordinate? What's our x coordinate in this, Cameron? Which one's our x? Is it 4 the x or is it 12 the x?
Guessing 4.
The 4, exactly. So so we got our x, so we know which one's our x. And our y coordinate, we obviously know. We don't have to ask that question because that's the only number left, right? So now we need to mark our location. So on this first one being x, how many are we going to move over on this, Chandler?
4.
So am I going to move over 4 spots, or is it going to be 1, 2? Right? Because this one is 4, right? And this one is 6. So go up, mark the point right here, and go ahead and be doing this on your board. And and I want you to actually go up to the next step, and I won't tell you what it's going to be. But where's the 12 going to be? Go ahead and mark this on your whiteboards. And once you have that,
Nobody wants to write?
I want you to mark your location of this, 412. Okay? Now remember, each line is representing 2 here, and on the y it's 3. Shaylee, you have that correctly. Cameron? Cassie, do you have that one? Where do you have your marked location?
My 12.
Okay, and did you mark it on your graph? Go ahead and just mark the end location.